Good morning. This is Dylan Jovine with Behind the Markets. Happy Tuesday. Today is Tuesday, September 2nd. So a few years ago, I'm going to tell you a little bit of a personal story. A few years ago, I noticed some stiffening in one of my fingers, my pinky finger on my right hand. And I'm like, what is this? It's so weird. I couldn't stretch it out all the way. It was very strange. And I thought maybe I jammed it. My son and I play a lot of basketball and we go to the batting cages. But what happened is when we go to the batting cages, I really noticed it. Whenever I hit the ball, all of a sudden when the bat would shake, my pinky would really hurt. And I'm thinking to myself, I wonder what I did, whatever. And it just kept getting worse. I thought it'd work itself out. I never really go to doctors unless I really have to. One day I finally go to the doctor and he says to me, you have Dupuytren's contracture. And I said, what? Dupuytren's contracture? I didn't even know what that meant. Never heard of it before. And it turns out Dupuytren's contracture is a thing where, your fingers in your hand start to bend in and you can't move them anymore. And turns out I have it. So he's telling me this thing. He's telling me, and he's like, we don't know if it's going to get worse. It might get worse. It might not. And I'm sitting there like, how do you treat this? It's funny. When you're young and something happens and you go to your doctor, they go to extraordinary lengths to fix you. We can take some skin from your butt, some fat from here, move it over to here. You fix this. We can do all these things. When you get older and you go to the doctors, they're just like, this is happening. Learn to live with it. It's funny about getting old. Just stuff starts happening and you have to deal with it. Anyway, so I'm like, Doc, what do I do here? And he says to me, there's really nothing you could do. They have these surgeries, but sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. They have these little needle things they do. Sometimes they work. But there's a newer drug out there that you might want to check out that really injects something in there. And I must have had a long look on my face, like a look of surprise, because I type a lot for a living. I'm very active. I do lots of things. And the doctor said, look, this used to be called Viking's disease. And I guess I must have started to look more interested. And he said, yeah, Vikings. This comes from Northern Europeans. The Vikings had these problems a lot with their hands. Their fingers would bend in. So I must have started to look hopeful. And he said, look, President Reagan had it. Margaret Thatcher had it. And I said, Doc, why didn't you lead with that? Two of my favorites had it. That would have made me feel much better immediately. Anyway, so here we are a few years later. And I've been waiting for it to get worse. And you know what? Now, officially, it has gotten worse. It's gotten to a point where I cannot move this finger beyond this. It's just gotten crazy. So I go to the doctor, another doctor, a hand surgeon, a few weeks ago. And I said, okay, how does this work? So they have this new treatment. It's really creepy. And he says to me, all right, here's what we're going to do. What we do is we inject an enzyme into your pinky finger, into where this stuff is. And, what happens is the enzyme starts to work because apparently all these things are tied around, like these tendons or something are tied around this or that, and it just pulls your finger in. And he injects this in there. Your hand gets big, black, and blue. And here's the best part. You come back in a couple or 3 days, 2 or 3 days, 48, 72 hours. And what I do is I crack your finger back into place. And I was like, oh, God, I'm not looking forward to that. Not looking forward to that at all. And I said, really? And I looked at the doctor and he looked happy. Oh, we get to crack my finger back into place. Looked a little too enthusiastic. I said, you get pleasure from this, don't you? And he said, no, of course I don't get pleasure. I said, you get a little pleasure from it, don't you? He said, all right, maybe just a little. And I said, what does it sound like when you're cracking my finger back in place? And he says, it's really odd. It sounds like glass breaking. Yeah, I've not been looking forward to this, but as you can imagine, but now it's getting to the point where I've got to deal with it because now it's actually limiting what I can do in a more serious way. And my son's been beating me at basketball lately because when I try to shoot the ball, and my kids are making fun of me, they call me the claw. I used to high five my kids and they do something, and so they go like this to me, like I'm the claw. So it's become a thing, which is fine and funny. So this company, there's a company here, there's a stock story here. There's a company named Endo Pharmaceuticals, which just merged with a company called Mallinckrodt. And they actually created this enzyme, and that has really effectively eliminated the need for surgery. And it's really great. I've been really looking at this here. This company, it's amazing. So first of all, this is going to affect my performance. The doctor says to me, look, it could hurt a lot. It could hurt a little. Some people recover quickly. We'll see. So I might be out of commission for a couple of days, or I might be nursing a nice little, and then I got to wear like a kind of thing to hold my hand in place for a while, for 6 weeks or whatever it is. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait. I'm so excited. But here we are. We got to do what we got to do. And it's just pain. You know what I mean? It is what it is. I always think back to the Revolutionary War and all the pain people went through before modern painkillers and technologies. That expression, bite the bullet, was during, you think back in the days, you think of the Revolutionary War, they'd bite down on these bronze bullets, these copper bullets, sorry, while they're doing surgery and cutting off the... So I'm like, okay, I can handle some pain. Don't be such a wimp. But I guess the cracking and the glass sound really sent shivers down my spine. But anyway, the company that makes it, here's the stock angle here. It's a company named Endo Pharmaceuticals. They merged with a company called Mallinckrodt. And healthcare companies, they're basically the lowest level in 20, 25 years. And that has hurt us in Biotech Insider. It's been ugly, you know what I mean? And I appreciate all of you Biotech Insider members who have stuck it out with us, especially those of you who've been with us since the beginning. We have so many customers that have been with us for years and years, and you've seen tough biotech markets before, and you've been with us, and our performance has been great. But healthcare stocks are basically priced at panic levels. It's really crazy. But this new company, this new Endo company, this new merged entity, looks like it's going to do about $4 billion in sales and about $1 billion in EBITDA. So I'm actually really looking at this right now and might have a recommendation for you. I guess first I'm going to decide if this darn thing works with me before I recommend the product. But it might be a killer product because a lot of people have this. Turns out, I've come to find out, a lot of people have it. And I guess somewhere down the line, Northern Europe, the Vikings raided in the European area and bad things happen to family members of mine somewhere down the line. Anyway, so I'm going to be a little off this week. I might miss a couple of episodes because of this surgical procedure, whatever they call it. But I just wanted to share that with you. I will keep you posted as to how that new treatment works. Xiaflex is the name of it. If it works really well and the company, the merged entity, looks like they've got their stuff together, we might have a new stock to buy, which I am pretty excited about. Anyway, that is all I have for this Tuesday. Have a good day. I'll see you tomorrow, I hope.